Okay guys, we're going on a Tanay run, this time with Miata Club Philippines, and we're going to have our first impressions of the Cusco Street Zero A coilovers on this run. Let's go for a ride. Hey guys, so if you remember in my previous video, I had a set of Cusco Street Zero A coilovers installed through Car Shack, and in this video I was able to do my very first major performance mod to the car. Now, initially I thought it was too stiff, okay? Initially I thought that my car was running really stiff, and considering that the shop owner, Ramon, instructed his mechanic to put it in full soft in terms of damping. So what happened was I was driving it around the city and I was bouncing around like a jackhammer, and I thought that, wow, this is really stiff. So the following day I brought it back to the shop. I told Ramon that maybe the spring rates were tampered. So it was explained to me that apparently not. The spring rates are still the same, and that it's really going to be bouncy. But it turns out after further investigation that the settings weren't at full soft. The settings were set at nearly full stiff. So that explained why I was bouncing all around the place. Now, okay, so we put it down to 1 click before full soft, and the ride improved tremendously, as in tremendously. Okay, so I was really happy with the results because now my car rides 1.5 inches lower than stock. Now, for some of you might be wondering, why did I do such a conservative amount of lowering if I went on coilovers? That's because, guys, I live in a condominium, and in the condominium we have a very steep ramp, okay? And that ramp, my car will not clear that ramp if I go any lower than 1.5 inch. In fact, I may have to raise my coilovers a little bit more if I plan to install a front lip, because that front lip with the current drop will hit that ramp, that access ramp. Anyway, so back to the coilover. So now it's really, the ride is really good, and it feels a little bit stiffer than stock, and I knew that it's something that I'm gonna have to trade off in terms of ride comfort for performance. One thing I noticed while doing some crazy turns around the city was how much the body roll was largely eliminated. There's still some roll at my current settings, but it's no longer as disconcerting as before. So that happened. The car now has a better balance for me, at least in terms of my driving, and I have more confidence in the car. So the body roll, coilovers, perfect modification. I haven't even installed upgraded sway bars yet, but I plan to do that in the near future to completely have a go-kart like ride in this car. Okay, so ride comfort, just set it near the softest setting and you're good. You won't be sacrificing too much when it comes to this upgrade. Ride height, yeah, comfortable. 1.5 inch, I could still clear most obstacles that come my way. Right, now we're going to go a little bit faster than normal. We're now in a little bit, the roads are a little bit clearer, all right? So gotta catch up with the convoy. And going on this little bit uneven cement road, it's not so bad. Not so bad at all, guys. All right, and we're off. Let's go, guys. See, there's a little bit of body roll on that sweeping curve, but it's not so bad. It's not as bad as the stock ones. The handling of the Cuscos are more confident. It's it hugs the road much better now. It has a lot of, I think it has a lot to do with the spring rate of the Cuscos, because as you can see in this picture, comparing the stock suspension versus the coilovers, my stock springs have a lot of spacing, and the spring material itself seems a little bit thin. So that explains why the car is rolling all over the place, because it's got softer springs. So the Cuscos with the stiffer springs gives me a much better ride. Alright, so I just avoided a small pothole there, and the responsiveness of the car also vastly improved when it comes to, you know, those small corrections in the road. Correction. Okay, so we're now in mountain territory. It's time to hoon it. Whoa! Smoke! Windows up! Damn! That's a lot of smoke, man! Since this is the first time I get to drive this car out like this with a lot of sudden acceleration on these coilovers, I also noticed that acceleration response have improved a little bit. The car doesn't really, you know, sit that far when it's trying to accelerate, which is really good. Okay. See, in that corner, you could see I took that corner a little bit faster than normal, and no body roll. Why did I upgrade my coilovers first and foremost? Because upon doing a lot of research in the internet, so I found out that coilovers would give me the best bang for buck in terms of performance upgrade. There are a lot of write-ups and videos on the internet about how coilovers will not only improve handling, it will improve, of course, the ride height, and it will improve acceleration, braking, and pretty much how the car handles through any scenario. So that's why I went for coilovers. Now, why did I go for Cusco? I went for Cusco because, well, Cusco is a Japanese brand, it's a JDM brand, and I like the fact that these Cusco Street Zero A's are completely made in Japan. They're not, you know, made in Taiwan or made in China. You could see on the label of each Cusco coilover that it is proudly made in Japan. And you know how these Japanese are. You know how the Japanese dial in all of their products to be perfect in every way when it comes to applications for their own, Japanese cars. And Miata, being a roadster in Japan, is one of those cars. So I went with the Street Zero A. Now there was a lower level below this, and why did I not go for that? Well, I wanted the damping adjustment and the spring rate adjustment. I mean, I wouldn't mind spending a little bit more, but knowing that, you know, my coilovers will be something that I'll use for many, many years. And well, that's why I went with a higher model. See, overtaking with this car, taking the curves a little bit more aggressively than normal, that disconcerting body roll is totally gone. And that's the first major observation I've noticed with the Scarlett now. The only disadvantage I can see with these coilovers, well, particularly all coilovers, in fact, is the fact that, you know, the stock ride is much more comfortable than these babies. I mean, I didn't buy Scarlett to be comfortable. She's a sports car, she's a roadster, she's supposed to run fast, and she's supposed to be noisy, she's supposed to be loud, and she's supposed to go fast in the corners. And that's why buying these Cusco coilovers, putting them on Scarlett, one of the best decisions I made on this car. Initial impressions, I don't mind living with a slightly bumpier ride. The good thing about this, I can adjust dampening. So if I'm a little bit tired, I can just dial it to full soft and I'm good to go. Oh, by the way, my front my front damping is 5 clicks from full soft, and my rear damping is 1 click from full soft. So that gives me a little bit more comfortable ride. So should you do coilovers? Well, guys, it's up to you. You know, if you got a budget for it and you like your car and you don't see yourself selling your car anytime in the near future, then by all means I would suggest go for coilovers. If you're on a budget and you feel that you don't really want to spend that much, then lowering springs are the way to go. Just that you don't have that ride height and damping adjustability. Now Scarlett, I envision Scarlett will stay with me for the over 10 years. So that's why I went for these Cusco Street Zero coilovers. Now what type of coilovers should you go? Get the best one you can afford. Because you don't want to have that buyer's regret. I should have just owned it up for a little bit more, gotten the higher model ones, you know. And it also depends on your needs. I mean, if you're the type of guy that you're just gonna do it for daily driving, and your priority is more of comfort and a little bit of you know, ride height adjustability, then you can go lowering springs or those you know, more affordable coilovers. But if you're like me, that envisions that you're going to track your car in the future, then don't scrimp on the coilovers. It's an integral, essential part of racing. You need to have a quality suspension in order to have better performance in the track, and a lot safer too. So anyway, so that's my initial impressions of these Cusco Street Zero A coilovers, guys. Overall, awesome upgrade. It's something that's livable. It's not too bouncy, not too harsh. And in terms of performance, significant upgrade. So if you like the video, guys, you know, please hit that thumbs up button. I'm really gonna appreciate it if you can subscribe to my channel. If you wanna see more of Scarlett Miata adventures and modifications, please do subscribe to my channel. And you know, just tell me anything in the comments below. If there's anything you want to know or whatnot, just tell me in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. I enjoy doing these videos for you guys. Big hobby and big passion of mine. That's all for today, guys. See you in the next video. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.